This is Majinoni, and here's take a look at Batman Earth 1 trade. Now, this is, as you can see, Jeff Johns and Gary Frank doing the art. And I went through a lot of different feelings about this book. I went from, okay, it's an interesting start, interesting what they're doing with Alfred, I don't like it, and I started to hate it, and then I started to come around again where I liked it at the end. Now, Gary does a really... See, part of the thing is, like, Gary's artwork. It's good, but there's parts of it I don't like. And keep in mind, this is just me, and I'm, the way I look at things, and I think there's a lot of really good that's going on here. The panel layout's great. The backgrounds are great. Characters are great. But, like, when I look at Batman, that's where my problem is. And while this panel, I love this with the eyes looking at his contraption breaking, there's other parts I just don't like about it. To me, and keep in mind, I understand what I'm saying, and it doesn't maybe not sound right, but to me, like, I'm used to the newer version of Batman, and this looks like Mark I costume, and I think that's what I don't like about it. I don't like the beginning Mark I version of it. But, like I said, that's being a very nitpicky, and, I don't expect other people to be as harsh on that as I am. Now, I think Bruce is a little punk kid who deserved what he got, but at the same time, it's really... I can see how it allowed him to cause the events that spiraled out of control. Now, his parents were still murdered, but there was a deeper conspiracy behind it, because Thomas Wayne was running for mayor against Cobblepot. Now, the thing is, what's going on here is you have a corrupt government and Thomas Wayne is being the face to save everything. And you have Bruce, who blames himself for the death of his parents. And, of course, that spirals into him becoming Batman. Now, this Bruce / Batman is a little bit different than the other, like the one that we're normally accustomed to. He seems a little bit more of an asshole than our normal version of Batman, if that is believable. Now, Alfred, he's not like a normal butler, so to speak. He knows how to fight. I mean, he has children in Korea, and he's like Secret Service type guy. And when the Waynes die, they leave him as, like basically the person to raise Bruce. And because of Bruce's attitude, he presents himself as a butler, because that's the only way that basically Bruce would have accepted him into the house. Now, along the way here, and this is what I thought was interesting, is this story is not necessarily about Bruce. It's not about Batman. It's not about any of this stuff. What it really is, it's setting the tone for Gotham. You have a very corrupt government. You have an oppressed group of people. You have this detective guy who comes in and he's like, "Don't you recognize me? I've been on TV, blah, 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 blah." And, he's going to be he's the shining knight, so to speak. And he's going to rid the world of darkness. But little does he realize how dark Gotham is. And he basically makes a lot of new mistakes, and it causes lots and lots of grief. And the end result of his adventure actually is really, I thought, was a really nice touch, and they did a fantastic job with these supporting casts. Gordon was also another great character. Here was Gordon was a policeman who wanted to do good, and he learned very quickly the harsh reality of Gotham, and he basically fell in line with everybody else, and he basically turned a blind eye to a lot of things that were going on. And you watch his basically rise to grace compared to what he was before. Also, See, I don't want to. I'll word it this way, so this way you understand something a little bit more that's a little bit more different. Even though I mentioned this version of Alfred is different in terms of secret, like the special ops type person, very worldly. He knows how to take care of himself. He actually does something at the end of this book which sets him completely apart from anything that you would expect from an Alfred. And I think for some people, I think they're going to like it, and I think other people might think of it as such a radical difference in terms of his character that they might have issues with it. In my opinion, I think at first I was like, I was on the fence. I liked parts of it, I didn't like parts of it. But when you look at what Gotham is and how dangerous and how dark and how corrupt it is, you need an Alfred that's basically going to provide a different support system for Bruce than the butler Alfred, who just gives him tea and sews him up. And for that, I think they did a really good job at going in that direction. You don't get a lot of bad guys or anything like that, but you basically get a serial killer who's really jacked up. You get basically Cobblepot, and there's some other minor people. And I think for what it is, they did a good job. They didn't give us the Penguin. They didn't give us the Riddler, Joker as the main villain at the start. I think the serial killer was a good idea because he's something that, while was impressive in size, he's beatable. And they made him really twisted, which was good. So potentially he could become, a rogue type thing. But for what he is right now, it's at least within the realm of believability. There is a surprise villain at the end that's starting their career, which I thought was also another really good selection. Typically, there's certain characters, a certain character you would normally expect to be #1 choice. You would expect a second character to be another choice based on what was seen here. But they went with a third option, which was, I thought, a lot better. Overall, like I said, I really, really enjoyed this book. It was a solid read. I think you'll see a lot of people are going to like it. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I want more books in this world, for Batman. Like, maybe I wouldn't mind seeing 1 or 2 more trades, just so I can kind of get an idea of the direction that the world is going to be going in. But at the same time, I think this is perfect just the way it is. Just give us the snapshot, and let's move on to something else, and see another part of the world. But, we'll see what's going to happen with that. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video up or down, let me know what you think, and I'll have more reviews later, so until next time.